Most men think that looks only matter when it comes to dating, attracting women, and just overall having dating success. But here's the thing, man, like a lot of people don't understand that your looks don't just play a role when it comes to dating, but it plays a role when it comes to your life in general, right? It plays a role when it comes to your interactions that you have in your life, whether that's making new friends, networking, dating opportunities, how your life is at work, interacting with your coworkers. Like the more attractive you are, the better looking you are, the more in shape you are, the more you take care of yourself, and just overall, the more physically attractive and the better your physical presentation is, you're gonna see that a lot of life will reflect back how you view and you treat yourself, how you take care of yourself, which is exactly why I'm gonna be talking about in this video how your looks change every interaction in your life. So the first point is that attractive men get respect, trust, and opportunities faster. And really the main reason for this is because of the halo effect. So the halo effect is basically when you are a good looking person, whether you are a good looking man, you are a good looking woman, people are going to treat you a lot better and project more positive characteristic traits onto you because you are a good looking person. A lot of people are just going to project more positive characteristic traits onto you. Basically, it's like good looking equals good, beauty equals good. Whether or not the characteristic traits that people are going to project onto you or onto a good looking person is actually accurate, it really doesn't matter. That's just what a lot of people are going to think. So for example, a lot of people think that when they look at my physique, they're gonna think that all I eat is broccoli and chicken breasts. But no, like I have a pretty flexible diet. Like I like to eat nutritious foods, whole foods, but I also like to have foods that are delicious. I like to have snacks and desserts from time to time as well. And really a lot of that comes down to them just seeing like, okay, he's in shape, he looks good, he's lean, he must eat very healthy. That's what a lot of people think. And that's just because they're going off of my physique. They're going off of my appearance. So they're gonna think the highest of me because of what my physical presentation represents. And I think a lot of this just has to come down to like when you're a good looking man, like you have the facial aesthetics, right? Sharp jawline, prominent cheekbones, hollow cheeks, you have low levels of body fat, you have the V-shaped physique, broad shoulders, wide back, slim waist, you look strong, you look healthy. You're displaying these different signals of health, like vitality, high levels of testosterone, youth even. You're showcasing a lot of these different traits that women are hardwired to seek out in men that they not only find attractive, but that they want to reproduce with. And this is all subconscious and biological, but I believe because when you're a good looking man and you take care of yourself, you're representing health. And health, the higher quality your health is, the more likely you're going to survive. And when you have these traits, people are going to respond better to that. They're going to be more open and receptive to that. People are going to trust that more, right? You just look more like a trustworthy person. I believe a lot of that just comes down to health. And health comes down to the importance of surviving. That's why you're going to see that people are going to treat good looking people, men and women, better because they really represent higher levels of health. They represent a higher quality of life. And that's going to make you more trustworthy overall because that's what we all gravitate towards, right? Better health, because as they say, health is wealth. So just understand that you're going to see that people are going to treat you a lot better when you're more attractive, men and women. People are going to be nicer to you. People are going to compliment you a lot more. People are just going to assume more positive characteristic traits about you. They're going to assume that you're intelligent. They're going to assume that you're confident. They're going to assume that you're charismatic. They're going to assume that you're ambitious and driven because really, especially like when you're in shape, that's the thing about the body. That's why I'm all about men getting in the best shape that they can because your body in particular is going to signal a lot of different traits such as discipline, drive, and ambition. So it's going to be a lot more natural for people to think that you are an ambitious and driven man because, well, a physique requires discipline. It requires consistency. It requires you having to do things that are uncomfortable, like lifting weights for the first time, like hitting a PR. It requires a lot of these different traits that make a man driven and ambitious. And your physique will represent those different traits about you without you having to say a word. And then moving on to the second point is that in your workspace, right, at work, your colleagues are going to assume that you're more competent. You're going to see that people in your workspace are going to probably assume that you're more intelligent, that you're more skilled, that you are a hard worker, that you're more dedicated, that you are better at adapting to the job. You're going to see that a lot of your colleagues, at least from my experience, like I've never worked in corporate America. I've been an entrepreneur ever since I was early 23, but I worked jobs like stocking shelves overnight at Target. That was like my longest job from April 2016 to May 2019. And I was stocking shelves overnight, but I noticed that people at my job overall were a lot nicer to me. I've worked like jobs in bank telling. I remember everybody was nice to me as a bank teller. Everywhere I've gone to, man, people have respected me. They always called me like a hard worker, said I was smart, said I was very adaptable, very personal. I remember I used to work at PacSun in high school, the clothing store, and I was great at sales. A lot of people said that they liked talking to me, that I was very personal, I was very respectful. respectful and genuine, and I just made the sales process a lot easier. I've noticed that in a lot of the different work environments that people treated me a lot better. And I believe really they started to treat me a lot better because I was treating myself better first by improving my physical presentation, getting in better shape, dialing in my fashion and my style, especially in my later high school years, because I got into weight training junior year of high school when I was 16, and I started to pack on a little bit of lean muscle mass, not too much, I wasn't nearly as big as I am now, but it made a massive difference compared to when I didn't lift weights at all. Like, those newbie gains hit differently, right? So I noticed that people in my workspace were just treating me a lot better. And then even like the older women at my Target job, they were always nice, they were always sweet, they were always looking out for me, always asking how my day was. I even remember in particular that when I started lean bulking and packing on lean muscle mass, and this was around January of 2019, I used to wear a Ronaldo Portugal jersey because Ronaldo is my favorite football player. And I had his Portugal jersey and it was very slim fit. And I started to like notice that it was getting smaller on me because I was adding size. And I remember like the older ladies were like, "Oh, Jordan, like it looks like you're getting bigger. It looks like you're putting on more muscle, like you look good," and stuff like that. And I also saw that aside from just like compliments from older women, because there was more older women that worked the overnight job than like cute girls. The cute girls always worked during the day job, like they were at the cashiers and stuff like that. But the older women worked overnights. But aside from just getting compliments from older women, like even the men, the male managers, right? They were always cool with me. They always looked out for me. There was a lot of guys I had things in common with, like comic book interest and sci-fi interest, like Star Wars and Harry Potter and stuff. So I connected with a lot of like the managers, and I even saw that my managers try to promote me to a manager in my position at Target. And they were trying to promote me over people that were older than me, even guys that were at the job longer than me. So you're gonna see that people are gonna be overall more respectful to you and treat you better. Not all the time. I know there's dudes at the job that will hate on you, especially when you're working with attractive women. Oh yes, there will be guys that hate on you. I'll have to make a video about that. But overall, I believe you will experience a lot of positive treatment. And then when it comes to dating, bro, the more attractive that you get, the easier it's gonna be to stand out and attract women. I don't give a damn what anybody says about that either. I don't care what a woman that might try to virtue signal and say that's not true. I don't care what she says. I don't care what hating ass dude says that maybe he says all about mouthpiece, or a dude that's out of shape and says it's feminine to take care of yourself. Okay, that's cool. But the fact of the matter is that women look at a man's looks, his physical presentation first and foremost. That's why I say it's the first filter of attraction and it's the foundation of attraction. You guys have seen enough proof results online, from my personal proof, depending on how long you've been watching me, but like you've seen enough proof online now that women care about looks, that it matters more to them than what we've all been led to believe. That's why I talk about this stuff. Are looks everything? No, but they are very important. And I talk about that because we were lied to and told to that they don't matter, that women don't care about looks, it's all about personality, looks are very vain, they're very superficial, blah, 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 blah. I was told all this bullshit, maybe like you. Comment down below if you've been told the same lies and bullshit that I have. But I saw that as I got more attractive, I got in better shape, women were treating me differently. People were treating me differently. Women were shooting their shot at me. Women were sliding up on my DMs, my stories on Instagram. Girls were starting to approach me in person. Girls were giving me choosing signals. I started getting more matches on dating apps. Girls were messaging me first on dating apps. Back when I used to do like the shirtless mirror selfies and stuff like that, I don't do that anymore on dating apps and Instagram in specific. I'll show pictures like that on YouTube and stuff for credibility, just being honest, to show you like my physique. Because I know it's all about like, okay, why should I listen to this dude versus that dude? Even when I was doing mirror selfies on dating apps and social media, you would always hear girls in person say they don't like that, but then girls would be sliding up on my mirror selfies, giving me heart eyes and fire emojis and stuff like that. And these girls were like very open and receptive, had high interest, had a high attraction for me. And I saw that as I improved my looks, it was easier to attract women to me. They're a lot nicer, a lot more friendly, more feminine, less flaky, more available. Like my dating life was just so much better as I improved my looks, as I got in better shape, as I improved my fashion, my style, my sex appeal, my overall physical presentation. So I don't give a damn what anybody says. I don't care about what game dudes say. It's all about your words. Words matter. Being charismatic. Yes, you want to develop your social skills, your charisma. You want to be that smooth dude to women. But here's the thing that a lot of women and men won't tell you is that women want to hear words from the men that they're attracted to. They want the men that they find physically attractive to talk to them. Why do you hear women complain about how a lot of men don't approach them now, but really the missing little detail, nothing major, but it's the attractive men that they want to approach them. I see women get approached all the time when I go out, but they're also rejecting those dudes. I've been out with female friends of mine or female acquaintances that literally rejected dudes that approached them while we were all hanging out. Oh, women are getting approached. They just want the handsome, attractive men to approach them. Just like how, yes, social skills matter, charisma matters. Yes, still be a smooth talking dude. I'll never tell you not to be that. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Because that helps you in life, not just in dating. But we got to keep it a stack here. They want to hear certain words come out a certain man's mouth. They want certain men to approach them. And that's why it's like, the less attractive you are, just give me a stack, the less attractive you are, the more, okay, then you have to dial in your social skills and your charisma. The more the words do matter. It's like a dial. The more attractive you are, the less those things matter on the front end of standing out to the woman and attracting her, but you still have to have a good conversation. You still have to be able to have basic conversational skills. But the more attracted and the higher interest she has in you, the less those things matter in terms of the weight of the attraction, as far as like what's carrying the weight of attraction. Before we move on to the next point, if you want extra help when it comes to maximizing your looks, your physique, and attracting more women to you and having more of an abundant and thriving dating life, I put together a free training for you, specifically breaking down exactly how I've been able to do this in my own life and how I've been able to help other men as well. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely check out that free training after this video. I promise you, bro, it's going to be very, very, very valuable to you. Then moving on to the next point is that even in friendships, the more attractive you are, the more you take care of yourself, the better in shape that you are, you're going to see that you're going to have more like social leverage. You're going to have like more perceived leadership and influence. Like, you're just going to see that people are going to want to hang out with you a lot more. You're going to see that people are going to constantly hit you up, see like, hey Jordan, like, what do you got going on this weekend? Let's go out. Like, you're going to see that people are going to constantly want to hang out with you. And I think a lot of it just comes down to like people being inspired by you, people wanting to be like you in certain ways, people wanting to emulate you, almost like, I don't want to say leech off your energy in a negative way, but they want to share your energy, as far as like when they're around you and they see the type of attention that you're getting, maybe female attention, just overall more positive social feedback from your environment and the people that you're around. People want to be a part of that. As well as like, bro, if you're just a cool dude, man, aside from you just being like a good looking man in shape, well dressed, well groomed, but on top of the fact, like, people just vibe with you, like you're a cool dude. People enjoy their time with you when they're talking to you. Of course, you're going to see that more people are going to hang out with you. Of course, you're going to see that people are going to view you as that dude, that people are going to enjoy your company. That's why you should be a good looking man that's well groomed, in shape. You just take care of yourself, because you're going to see like, you're not only going to get more dating opportunities, you're going to get more networking opportunities, you're going to have more job opportunities, but people are just going to treat you better overall, man. You're going to see that other men are going to be inspired by you. Other men are going to want to do business with you because you look more trustworthy. That's the thing. Like, when you are well presentable physically overall, you are more trustworthy, because it shows that you take care of yourself. So therefore, a lot of people think you're going to take care of them, or that because you're pleasant to yourself, you're more than likely going to be pleasant to other people. You create more networking opportunities that way. You stand out that way. Which leads me to my next point, is that society rewards aesthetics because it signals discipline, health, and self-respect. That's why I believe that the more you improve yourself, the more you improve your physical presentation, your facial aesthetics, your physique, your fashion, your style, your grooming, when you just look like a man that radiates self-care, high value traits, confidence, without you having to say much, you show that you value yourself. Other people are going to pick up on that. Other people are going to peep that. That's why men that are in shape, they get more respect. They make more money. They get more job opportunities. They can monetize their physical presentation, like their physique. They can start a personal brand. Why can they do that? Because they are in shape. That's respectable. That's trustworthy. That's inspirational. So you're going to see that a lot of men that are in shape, that are good looking, that take care of themselves, that's why they get these type of opportunities. Because really, the world, in a sense, is reflecting back how the man views himself. And you can tell the way he views himself is in somewhat of a high regard because of the work that he put in on his exterior. Notice how I said somewhat, because you can still be a good looking dude in shape. You have it all going for you externally, but like, you're still insecure on the inside. You still view yourself as that unconfident, unattractive man. And that's because you keep living in the past, and your self-image of how you view yourself hasn't caught up internally, as far as how you are on the external. How you view yourself on the internal hasn't matched with the outside, with the external. That's why you have to focus more on your evidence and how you've been treated recently as a good looking man, or in the past years, or however long you've been considered good looking and attractive to people. You got to reflect on your evidence, and you have to upgrade yourself from how you used to be, how you used to view yourself, and who you are now. That's how you start to not only upgrade yourself externally, but upgrade your internal hardware, as far as your self-image and how you view yourself on the inside. But you're going to see that society rewards people that are aesthetic, that are in shape, that look good, that take care of themselves, because that requires discipline. That requires putting the work. Regardless if you were born with a good base of genetics or above average genetics, regardless, you still have to put in the work. At the end of the day, you're going to see that people are going to treat you better because you're treating yourself better. The world, in my opinion, the way you look at the world and the way that the world treats you is how you look at yourself and how your inner world is and how you treat yourself. That's why you're going to see the more attractive you are, the better shape you get, the more the world is going to be better to you. I'm not saying your life's going to be perfect. I'm not saying everything's going to be peaches and cream, but it's going to be a lot better when you are in shape, when you take care of yourself, when you look presentable, when you're more attractive physically, holistically, emotionally, mentally, energetically than if you're not. But regardless of your genetic base, regardless if you were born with good genetics, above average genetics, you still have to put in the work. And then lastly, man, is just that mastering your looks, your physical presentation. This isn't vanity. It's just a universal advantages that compounds for you daily. Like, a lot of guys are going to think this is superficial. They're going to think it's cringe. And the reason why I talk about this stuff is just more so because I just noticed how from dating, networking, job opportunities, just life in general, my life was just a lot better and people treat me a lot better the more attractive I became, the better in shape I got. And I noticed a lot of guys, especially when it comes to dating, a lot of guys are good dudes, solid men. They have great qualities about them, but unfortunately they're going to get passed up by a lot of women if they're not passing the woman's physical attraction threshold and filter. It's kind of like the show Family Matters. If you've ever watched Family Matters, Steve Urkel was all about Laura and trying to get at Laura and was like trying to do all these nice things for Laura and was constantly simping for Laura. Laura wasn't trying to do anything with Steve, but then once he became Stefan and stepped into that machine and transformed himself, all he did was just take off his glasses and he had more sex appeal and charisma to him. Now she's all over him, but she wasn't feeling that same way about Steve. And I know this is a show, but like the reason why that example hits differently is because that is a real representation of how women act towards men that they're attracted to versus men that they're not. The dudes that they're not attracted to, that's simping for them and they're sweet and they're nice guys, probably genuinely good dudes. They ain't really trying to hear all that. They don't really care about that if the dude isn't good looking. I'm not saying that's going to be the case every single time, but it is the case a lot of times. But even outside of dating, man, like the more attractive, the better in shape that you get, the more you improve and invest into your physical presentation, you're going to see from like an energetic perspective. I know this sounds woo-woo, but from like an energetic perspective, man, the world and people are going to treat you better because you are treating yourself better first. It starts with you. It's a cause and effect. The better you treat yourself, the better you take care of yourself, you're going to see overall, not every time, but a lot of the times people are going to treat you better and take care of you better. And if you want extra help when it comes to improving your looks, man, improving your physique, dialing in your physical presentation, not only getting more dating opportunities where attractive women are coming at you with high interest and high attraction, but just overall people are treating you better, right? Friends, family, you're attracting more networking opportunities, business opportunities. Like, I've literally helped guys attract more business opportunities and money making opportunities because I helped them get in better shape, because I helped them improve their looks. Not just help them attract dating opportunities, I help them attract those things too, but just they're getting treated better at their job. They're getting treated better by their networking groups. People are making money based on their physicality, like their physiques, teaching other people how to get in shape, building a personal brand. That's what I'm talking about, man. If you want more help with this, if this sounds interesting to you, I created a free training for you specifically breaking down step by step how to achieve this and how I've helped so many other men achieve this. So definitely check out that free training. I'll have the links down below in the description and the pinned comment. And with that being said, I hope you got a lot of value from this video and I'll talk to you in the next one.